Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Ange of Tiny Trinkets and Tarot for our transparent tarot deck
Yes.
casual.
Yay.
And um,
Thanks for having me.
I am so glad to have you here. I'm so glad to have somebody to speak with about this deck. And I have to take a breath because I'm so excited.
Yes. I'm
Here,
excited. I've
let's
been
take a
really looking
sip.
forward to this for quite a while. So I'm so
Hmm.
excited to be here and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And full disclosure, I gifted you the second edition of this deck.
Yes.
So I had it sent to you. So
Yes.
that's the peer pressure. That's really why she's having to do this because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, if I send this to you, you've got to promise me to come on, right? Um,
Yes.
that's not exactly what I did, but anyhow. So I'm just keeping lots of people here, so thank you. Um, and okay, so you've had the deck for how long?
I would say,
It's been about 3 months.
I was going to say 3 months. Yeah, about 2.5, 3 months. Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
all right. So let's go through and say hi to some people. I'm taking down my
Yay.
glasses. So
I can't
Tarot
see
Stash is
chat,
here.
so.
In order for you to see it, you have to go to the comments and then click, or it should be maybe at the bottom. It's comments and not. Are you
Oh,
on
I see
a
it now.
tablet? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there
Okay.
we go. Okay. There we go.
Liz is so effing excited for this deck casual. And Liz has a potty mouth. Robin, Toadstool Tarot, is here. Hello. Ooh,
Hey.
my chat just leaped. Um, the Queen is here.
Hello,
Hello,
Shauna.
Shauna.
Hey.
You got to have that. And um, Deb H is here. Hello. Jonathan is here. Hello, Jonathan.
Aloha.
And Laura, hello, backyard naturalist. Joe from Behind the Veil. And this is not a shameless plug. This is a plug because Joe is going to be on my channel for a Working Towards Well-Being conversation on
Nice.
Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. BST. Looking forward to that.
Hmm.
They were just on with Martin to talk about mental health.
Yeah, great live, by the way, Joe. I have to still watch some back, but I always enjoy those conversations.
I do too. I do too.
Hmm.
Hi, Kim Moon Whisperer. Jane the Seeker. Hello. Lisa Stevens. So many people. The Roaming Witch. Hello.
Karina.
Patricia. Oh, I hope I have not forgotten anyone. Um, Aiden learns tarot. Hi, Aiden.
Hey,
Glad to
Aiden.
have you here. Da, 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 da. Oop, my chat just jumped again. So that's crazy. Ooh,
Ooh,
Rosemary
Rosemary.
is getting ready to pack for vacation. Very
Jealous.
nice. So everybody's in the house. Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah. Thank you,
That's
Ange. We
awesome.
enjoyed doing them. And it's such an ongoing and important conversation. And
Yes,
one of the things that is really important when we're thinking about and it's Mental Health Awareness Week, I believe.
it is.
In is it just everywhere or is it in the UK? I don't know, but that's why they did it. They were doing that, and so long as we can have respectful conversations about it and actually listen and learn from each other,
Right.
that's a huge, huge thing. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, Kim Moon Whisperer says, I have had this deck for years, hardly ever use it. Sticks together. Interested in how the newest version works. It's such a great idea and layers. And Pamela is here. Hello. And I think we can answer that because the second edition was specifically crafted so the cards do not stick together.
Right.
So the production quality, and in fact, in the book, it is talked about how much. Oh, and by the way, here, let me do this. The second edition comes in a box like this, and very nice little box. It has an amazing, and what I love is of course it's got a transparency on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health awareness in the UK all month of May. And so this great book, this amazing, amazing book,
Mm-hmm.
ask me how I feel about this, has 304 pages.
Yeah.
304 pages. Uh, um, so the quality of the deck has been improved. There are some changes. I have the first edition, and Ange has the second edition. I also have the second edition. It does come with a reading cloth, a white reading cloth, so that you can do that. And I still have mine.
Yeah.
Hi, Teresa. And what did you want to say about the deck itself?
This is, well, first of all, this is like a deck like no other. I obviously do not own another deck even that comes close to this, because obviously, as you can imagine, it's see-through cards, and so therefore you have to have the right surface to read on, which is why it comes with the, like Gerald was saying, it comes with the cloth. Now, I don't particularly use the cloth, but I suppose if you didn't have a white surface to read on, that's awesome that it comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
I just tend to either have like a white piece of paper, or for today I just have this little canvas just to be able to show you the cards so that you can see them.
Yes.
But I also have a light board, which we're going to show you later on in the live. If you don't know what a light board is, mainly artists use it for like sketching and that, like so that you illuminate what's underneath.
And they're really useful if you are creating sigils. Hashtag Magic Tool Talk. Hashtag Terrastash yesterday.
Yes.
The size. This is a traditional RW or Rider Waite Smith, and the cards are about a half an inch wider,
Yeah.
and a smidge shorter.
Yeah.
And so there's the physicality of the card. Now, there is a difference between the first edition, which, by the way, I had to write down, came out in 2008. And this one came out in 2021, I believe.
Yes.
And there is a slight difference between the cards, because if you look at this is the first edition, and the border is a black, and this is the second edition, and the border is gray.
Mm-hmm.
And the number is up at the top in orange, and it has on the first edition they are Roman numerals, and in the second edition they are not. And Robin, it is gambled on publishing deck. It is is it a red feather?
Red feather, yeah, Schiffer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Red feather. Mm-hmm.
So, oh, by the way, purchase responsibly, know your limits. It's not for everyone. Okay, I'm going to fan a little moment about this, because the way I read tarot is I do see layers and overlaps. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, as I was really starting to lean into the intuitive side of tarot reading, is I really wish I could layer the cards, because I was actually putting cards on top of each other and telling stories. And then I found my copy of the Transparent Tarot at a bookstore, and I didn't even miss a beat. I took it, and I I bought it and I've used it. It really has supplemented my my reading quite well, and it leans beautifully in. And I mean, Emily Carding, they are so incredible to have thought of this. And it's not just, I think it's easy to say, they had to actually create an image for every single card that would work for this.
Yes.
And and so, by the way, this is the box. I had a special box made just for this deck.
Nice.
And so that's how important it is. Okay. It's like, oh my gosh.
That's really
So,
cool. And not only did she have, or excuse me, not only did they have to create an image for each card, but something that would work with obviously the layering that you're speaking of, and keep it minimalistic enough in order to be able to see those layers. So that had to have been a challenge all in itself.
that
Um,
was brilliant.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. And Calla Lily is Liz, Shauna. And Lori Tries Life is here. Hello. I probably have missed other people. So Silky, hello. Yes, I do love a good box there. And did Emily intend as a standalone deck or in combo with other decks? Well, Robin, oh, and by the way, here's how much I loved this deck is back in the day, I actually had it was a bound book. I had it turned into a spiral bound. And can you tell how much I have used this? It really has done wonders for me. Robin, to answer your question, the Transparent Tarot Oracle came out in 2010. So Schiffer was smart and trusted them to be able to create this. And the Transparent Oracle is a round deck. And you can absolutely layer the images on top of each other. And in fact, it is encouraged for you to do that. Not only with that, it also does beautifully with the Tarot of the She. And in fact, in the back of the book of the second edition, they give examples how to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So Emily Carding is the author as well of the Tarot of the She. I don't have that one. I don't know why. I feel like I should, but I don't.
no
But
pressure.
you know, just if we could just backtrack just a minute, just for this book.
Yes.
Like this book, first of all, as you already pointed, it's a chunky thing, but you know, not only do you have like Emily's idea of what, you know, the card is about, but then when you go to the second page, it also gives a divinatory meaning as well. So you have like, you know, you can pretty much call it like 3 full pages or 2.5 pages per card. And I don't think it's that way for the minors. I think it's a page and a half for the minors. But I really love when a creator puts their own spin on things, because then it really does allow me to connect differently with the cards. And being that it's called a transparent tarot, I have found so many more layers in the meanings of the cards just by using the deck, which is profound for me. I read in a layered style fashion anyway. I always layer my tarot, oracle, and charms.
Yes.
So when this came along, my mind was blown. I was like, whoa, I just was able to go down this whole rabbit hole with it. And also back to what Robin was saying, I do pair mine with other decks as well, two in particular, that maybe we'll get into in a little bit. But I do
go ahead and show them.
Is it okay?
Go ahead and show them. Yeah, go ahead. I'm flexible.
Okay, cool. So this here is Visions in Liminal Space. It's an oracle deck. And I'll show the creators on the back so that if you're interested, Baccarat and Kaylee. It's an indie deck. And I use this deck because it is minimal in itself as well. So I didn't want anything to be too busy using it with this deck. So I'll just show a few cards and then I'll show you with the with it. So for those that don't
Nice.
know what that looks like. And then if you take a card, you layer it. For example, here's the world card with it, right? So that's what the world card looks
It's
like.
amazing.
And then of course here's like the chariot card. Some work, of course, better than others with it. But that has been working out really well, is the visions in liminal space. Of course, you can experiment with any deck of layering it just to see, but I find if it's too busy of artwork, then you're going to lose the transparency, quite frankly.
Yes.
In all of it. And then another one that I've been layering it with that I've really been enjoying is the Shimmering Veil. And I'll show you what that looks like. So here's like the Ace of Pentacles layered with that. You know, let's see another example I could use here. You know, so you just have this like simple little silhouette, but you also have the image of the card as well. So that also can just keep adding the layers of depth onto it. So you can add it with
It's amazing.
Oracle.
Yes.
And just play around with it. It's just so much fun. I've been really enjoying it, and I've been really utilizing this deck for my own, like deepening my own practice and meanings with, I am like a kid in the candy store. I'm like, layers everywhere. I'm like, I don't even know. Oh gosh. It's hard for me like to focus because I'm just like so excited.
Yeah. I see, you know, Shimmering Veil works very well with that. And and I know Jonathan was fortunate recently to attend some classes that they did. Emily provided. So
cool.
It's pretty incredible. And again, know your limits, purchase responsibly. You'll hear me say that. Oh gosh, there's just so much to talk about. And so I'm expecting people would like to see some cards. So do you have, okay, so normally what we do with the deck casual is we look at cards that we really like and cards that we have questions about, meaning help me understand this, help me get some possibilities. So would you like to, oh, and by the way, the Transparent Oracle, the second edition, is going to be released this year.
Yes, in August. Red Feather. The Schiffer again. Yes.
And yes, I will probably purchase a copy of that, because do I need 2 copies of it? Yes, I do. Don't judge me. So, because there you go. So what card would you like to show first? And I will try to match and we'll hold up. We're going old school. Oh, by the way, do you want to show your light board now?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll just quickly show you what a light board looks like. I'll enter the studio. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to leave this one and then come back on the other one, because otherwise we're going to get an echo and I don't want to do that. So
I have it muted.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yes.
1 sec.
Okay. I'm going to add to the stream. There you go. And then I'm going to put that there.
Okay. So this is a light board for those that don't know. And you can, of course, lay them side by side. In the guidebook, they talk about layering them this way and making what they call like a film strip out of it. So you layer them like this and keep going. But of course, you can also put them on top of each other, which is what it was intended for. And the light board really, well, quite frankly, illuminates the cards for you and gives you like a different look on things. You know, like here is the King of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords, which is really, really cool. And again, utilizing this deck in this way has really allowed me to deepen my relationship with the different meanings of the cards. Like here's the Five of Swords, and that is the Judgment card. So, you know, you could just sit here and play around with it. And actually with the light board, I have been using it for meditation. With the cards,
that sounds great.
Because they mention it in the guidebook. Yeah. So that's another thing there. So I'm going to turn the light board off now.
Do you want me to remove it? Okay, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
How's that?
There.
Jonathan said, I need to get that deck, Transparent Oracle. Second edition has 7 more cards than the first edition. Purchase
Okay.
responsibly.
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't either. Thanks, Jonathan. Purchase responsibly. Robin, Toadstool Terror said, I'm guessing if you don't have a light board, you could make a big white rectangle on your iPad to create one, right? Yes. And you could do that. You can also just use a piece of white paper or
Yeah.
the cloth that comes with it.
Yeah, or
You
the
do
cloth that comes
do
with
not
it.
need it. So
No, it's not necessary. But the light boards, I will say, not to try to get people to buy it, but they're very inexpensive on Amazon. Light boards, if you type it into Amazon, but not trying to get people to buy anything. I'm just saying, like, if you really like that, because it really changed my relationship with the deck when, because I didn't have the light board right away. I only got the light board
yes.
maybe a month ago. I just said to
Mhm.
Gerald, "Hey, did you realize?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, in other words, I've had this deck for a
Yes.
while, and I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I
Thanks,
forgot
Ange.
that."
Got it. Also, I've done it on, it's interesting to put it on a window and to actually have the background showing through. It's really amazing, especially as a
Yeah.
tarot reader. Sometimes I'm drawn to what's going on around me, and what's going on around me is reflected in the cards. So it's like perfect. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, nice.
That's really a cool idea too. Never thought of that. Almost like stained glass. That's cool.
Yes, yes.
Um,
So,
so yeah, like you were saying, normally in the deck casual, we pick cards that like are more challenging to us, and then ones that we that we find that we like gravitate more towards. And in
mhm,
this deck, I only found 4 that I don't want to say I don't like, but that I have struggles with, or maybe
mhm.
one that's just kind of silly to me. And I'll start with the silly one.
Ooh, she's
um,
gutsy. Go for it.
so this one here is the 4 of Cups, and it's silly to me
Uh,
because he's sitting on the cup, and I can't help but think like you're just sitting on the throne, like sitting on the toilet. I mean, but maybe that's what we
oh,
get to do
she
with the
said
Four
it.
of Cups. We're just sitting there contemplating, and sometimes you contemplate when you're on the throne. So there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, there's that, and then the 3 major Arcana cards that I kind of like is the Chariot. I
Okay.
don't. I mean, I understand symbolically, but I I just would like to see a
You know what
chariot.
actually works really well with that is it works really well layering on top of other cards. That image is perfect for the layers.
Okay, I can definitely see that. Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
mhm.
And then this is the Magician, which again I do agree this is another good one for layering because things like show up in here and here. Sometimes what
Yes.
is it like the 2 of Cups? If you layer it, it's like coming out of the 2 of Cups. Um, so I can definitely see that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it took me a while. I'm like, oh, this is the Magician, really? But again, I understand symbolically. And then just my last one that I'll gripe about is just the Strength card because I I'm like strength. I don't know. I struggle with that one. So
And that one actually works beautifully layered as well.
hmm
Because sometimes I find that first of all, it's a female lion,
yes.
which I appreciate. And depending upon what cards are layered on it, that lioness is looking at things.
Ooh.
And sometimes the lioness has things going on in their head. And so it's like, okay, I see.
Maybe if I layer the Magician. There we go.
Yes, yes. Well, you're
Uh,
talking about the magician, and I will actually say the magician is one of my favorite cards because I really like this. I've not seen it depicted this way,
yes.
and it does work so beautifully with other images in the deck. And oh, Ben is here. Hello, Ben.
Hey
Nice to
Ben,
have
how are
you.
ya?
So yes, I have appreciated that one, and we've also talked about this as the Fool,
Yes.
and the Fool is just a lovely little card,
Mm-hmm.
and you will notice on the Fool we have the spiral shape. Hi, Maria. I saw you pop
Mm-hmm.
in. And oh yes, you want me to, if because this is the world card.
Love this one.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Oh, love it.
And so what's beautiful is obviously they know about the tarot, because on the I'm so excited. The uh, the spirals are on the edge, so you can actually, when you layer,
Mm.
see what we're talking about, people. It's like,
Yep.
wow,
And the cycle continues.
the cycle continues.
Yeah.
So those are two of my favorite cards: the Magician and the Fool, and the World, actually. So those are three of my cards. But
I really love
um,
the High Priestess as well with the book and the moon. I feel like the symbology that Emily has pulled out of the cards really, they really do it justice. But then again, obviously because we're layering cards, it's really good for the layering as well. And
yes, because if, for instance, let's say we pull out the Ace of Pentacles, trying to get these to, I mean, come on.
yeah.
Uh, it's truly, truly amazing. And like I said, I've been using this deck, what, 15 years? No, 14 years, I think. 14 years. And this was actually mind blowing for me at
Hmm.
the time. It's like, look at that.
Right.
Yeah, it is cool, isn't it, Joan?
And when we were talking backstage, we were saying like not only did they have to create clearly 78 images for 78 cards, but strategically placing the images on the cards to be able to be layered with any of the other cards, which is a lot, and then to make them cohesive enough. Oh, like look at that. Oh, the Two of Pentacles with the High Priestess. Like, oh yes, love
It's
it.
truly, truly amazing. I mean, and this is, I remember when I first got this deck, I spent hours layering and playing with it,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes, the
All right.
possibilities. And then, of course, you bring in another deck, and oh, you just opened up a whole nother toy box. So, this here is like the Hanged Man with Temperance. And the Hanged Man, oh, I just love that it's this cocoon. And of course,
Yes.
Temperance is one of my faves of the whole deck. I just love rainbows, so who am I kidding? And
Mhm.
this is the Emperor.
That's the
No,
Emperor.
yes, Emperor 4.
Hmm.
Which I thought was interesting how they depicted it as like a structure of like a city instead of a person. I like that. So also
Well,
like
and
the eight. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
uh, okay, is the class a one-time thing? Shauna, I think it was. I don't know. Jonathan was able to do that. To go back with what Ange was saying, uh, you know, the Empress. There you go. And oh well, surprise everybody! Look who's here, Emily Carding.
Hi.
Hello, hi.
Hello,
Hello,
thank you. How are
Emily.
you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I am great. Honored to have you here. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you for inviting me and thank you for um, being so kind about my deck and everything.
Hmm. We're just gushing right now.
I'm
Like,
gushing and I'm like going, oh, okay, Gerald,
Thank
breathe.
you.
Anyhow, I mean, Like I said, I don't know if you heard, but when I got this deck in 2008, I was really trusting my intuitive reading style, and I was layering things on top, taking cards and the traditional cards and going, it'd be great if I could, because I always said, I see the world in transparencies. This is how my brain works. And suddenly this deck showed up in my life, and I went, oh, it really, really opened some things up. So
I'm so glad. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
So, but thank you.
Absolutely.
So, and I've been shamelessly promoting all of your items.
Oh, well, thank you.
And trying to remind everybody, purchase responsibly, know your limits. And we are just 3 people who love this deck and use it. So, but so Emily, welcome home, by the way. You've been traveling.
Yes.
Yes, I'm just back from Poland, where I had a few days shooting a feature film, a little indie feature film on green screen in a studio in Poland, which was lovely, with a lovely cast and crew. So it was a very nice time, and it was so nice to be traveling again for the first time since COVID, really. So it was nice. I feel like I got a part of myself back,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. So very much. So very much. We were sharing, oh gosh, I don't even know where to go. Emily, what was it like to create this deck?
Well, I was quite keen when I created it to do it quite quickly, because I thought if I had the idea, and it was an idea that just burst almost fully formed into my head, that anybody else could also have the same idea and get it out there before me. So it was quite stressful initially, but also quite a feverish creative process. I was frantically trying ideas out on tracing paper, working out whether the idea would even really work, overlaying things on computer and so on. And then it was such a massive relief once. I mean, getting it published was very difficult, because nobody wanted to publish something so different or that would cost more to produce, which is, I'm sorry, why the deck is a little bit more expensive than standard decks, because the production of it is more expensive. So once I got through all of that, it was an absolute delight and a massive relief to find that the cards worked just as I'd hoped and imagined, perhaps better than I could have imagined, because I couldn't plan for the many, even billions of possible combinations, when you think you don't only have reversed cards, but you also have flipped, and then flipped and reversed. So I could only plan how the majors would interact, how each suit would interact, how each number within the suit would interact, and how the core cards would interact, and how certain cards, meanings that I knew that they should have when they met together, how that should look. But I couldn't possibly conceive every single possible combination. So now it's a joy, and it's been out there in the world for a while now, and still seeing people discover new ways of using it. And even when I'm doing readings with it, excuse me, still finding new combinations that surprise and delight me. So I feel very honored and privileged that the idea chose my head to visit, manifest through.
Well, I am too. And I will also say, I'm going to heap some praise in your general direction. So get ready.
Oh, I'm an actor. I hate praise. No, come on.
Okay. Yeah. I hate praise. Oh, stop.
No.
It is well written.
Yeah.
Also, there are so many times, there are a few times when I run across a deck where the images are so compelling, but the book doesn't support it. And it's one of those things. This is, and I because this deck was really helped evolve me as a human being and as a spiritual person. And as a reader who likes to read for other people to support them where they are, it is like having a cup of tea with somebody or doing shots with someone
Yeah.
and having someone hug me and slap me upside the head at the same time.
Yeah, that does sound like me.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
Oh.
I think because I had an idea that was so different, and I was aware that some people might just look at it and go, "What? How?" I was like, I just need to put as much in this book as possible. And that was the first book that was the first book that I ever wrote. So I just wanted to put as many of my ideas about tarot in there as possible, as well as specifically that deck. I was like, this is my chance. Just I've over-explained a bit. I don't know. It's like a big book, but
It's the perfect book for this because, well, I don't know if you saw Emily. This is I have the first edition of it, and this is my copy. And I actually had it turned into a spiral bound so that I could actually lay it out and look at it and go, wait a minute, okay. So and you can see all of the tabs and notes. And Ange, I will let you talk in a moment. But speaking of books, you have just released Seeking Fairy.
Isn't it pretty? I'm so pleased with it. They did an incredible job on producing that.
Yes.
The artist, Cielo Thompson, is just wonderful, isn't she?
Yes, yes. It is a charming book. I just got it. And Jonathan and I were talking about it earlier. And he's reading it. But come on, how can you not just...
I'm just so pleased with how the artwork complements the book. Just, it's such a beautiful baby. My beautiful book baby. And it's hardback and chunky and square and just...
Yeah, it's so great. So
thank you. I'm so
thank you. Thank you. Terror of the She also talk about...
It just keeps pulling stuff out.
I told, hi, Emily, I'm Gerald. This is me. I'm going to start and, here, let me get my tiny hands
when
out.
You're 5 years old, you drop it from a hamster. Here it is.
Just wait. If you order within the next 15 minutes, you too can get a fan.
My biggest fan.
Oh.
So, yes, I'm one of your biggest fans.
I was going to say, like, I think you love the work.
Don't make me get my wand out to make us, to stop time.
It's so shiny.
I know, it's just awful.
No, I love that.
But wow. The wonderful thing also is I'm glad you're writing, because if people are familiar with Terror of the She, Terror of the She is awesome. The writing that you do with this is, oh look, I actually have a feather in here to mark a place for the hermit. But the artist notes are just like really help us to appreciate your perspective and to give us a fuller understanding.
Thank you.
So
the reason that book is so small is I wanted that deck to be as cheap as possible, and so with a small book it could be in a smaller package. Shipper have this habit of making wonderful production but massive boxes and they're a bit more expensive, and I said, look, I really want, this was more like a spiritual mission for me, that I felt like I was requested by the She to do. And I just wanted anybody who wanted the deck to be able to get hold of it. So that's, I hope there's enough in the book. I know that some people are like, why it's not as much about the minors, and I'm sorry, but I wanted it to be smaller and therefore cheaper for people. So that's, but
thank you for considering that. So Indigo Lady said, oh, this live is so much fun. And Emily, your voice is angelic. I could listen to you talk all day.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm a little bit a little bit phlegmy today, but I just, before I went to Poland, I had COVID, very mild, thankfully. I just slept for a week or so.
Mhm.
And then just, whether it's that or hay fever, but I have a little but thank you.
You're welcome. And what would you
Mm.
like to say? Because I have been
That's okay. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
let
don't-
you gush.
you know, don't even get me started on the Oracle.
And another thing, the second edition of the Oracle, because the Oracle has been out of print for a wee while. It's sold out,
Mhm.
and I never realised how popular it was until everybody started messaging me every day saying, "Where can I get a copy of the Oracle to go with my new tarot?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Yes.
maybe keep an eye on eBay. I don't know. Sorry." Thank
Hi,
you.
Sadhana.
Little messages popping up. This is so lovely. So there is a second edition of the Transparent Oracle coming out soon, this summer, July, I think, if all goes to plan. Things sometimes get a bit messed up at the moment with shipping and so on. But there will also be 7 new cards.
I just heard this.
You can see a couple of them, I think, on Amazon at the moment. For some reason, they've posted some examples of the cards, and I think one of the new ones is on there. So there's 7 new archetype cards.
Cool.
So it's one an archetype for each direction of the 7 directions. For those of you who are listening who don't know, the Transparent Oracle is my own system on transparent circular cards based on the 7 directions and various correspondences, including ceremonial magic and astrology and shamanism and animal guides and whatnot. Stuffs. One of the
Yes.
things. Yes.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm getting overwhelmed. And please talk, and maybe you can answer Robin's question. And I'm curious about your use of trinkets and charms as an extra layer over the top of the images.
So am I.
Yeah. So
There you go.
Okay, so my style of reading, anyways, has been layered. I've always layered my readings with tarot, oracle, and charms. That's just how I read as a whole. And then when this little deck came into my life recently, gifted from a friend, which Gerald gifted me, this added more layers and rabbit holes to my life, and I just haven't put it down. I love working with it. It has deepened my meaning with each of the cards and how they can relate to one another. I just have to point this out because it's in front of me, but this 8 of Wands, like, thank you for putting a person in an 8 of Wands, because I love, of course, the movement in the 8, but usually it's just the 8 Wands flying through the air, and I'm like, yes, there's a person in the 8 of Wands. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just these little touches, we just prior we were talking about, for example, like the Hanged Man, and I'm like, I love that it's a cocoon and the possibilities. And when this particular one is layered with other cards, it is really profound, or at least I have found it to be really profound. So as we were mentioning before, of course, I layer the transparent on top of each other, but I also have been layering it with other decks. I don't have Tarot of the She. Shame on me. Yeah, but
No shame. It's just shame-free zone. Get rid of that, Ange. Come on.
I know.
I will say that the 2 decks are extremely different, but whether because they came through the same brain or whatever, they kind of work really well together.
Yes. Yes, I've seen people pairing them, and they do pair very, very beautifully.
Also, they're the same size as well.
Yes.
Coincidentally or intentionally, I don't know. But
yeah.
That's another thing that I'm often just delighted by. I do that like as my nightly practice, that those 2 decks and the Oracle as well. And I'm like, ooh.
This is brilliant.
I'm amazing. No, because I feel like stuff came through me. I don't necessarily feel like massive ownership over it.
Those are the best creations, when they just sort of manifest in that way. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I've been using my light board with the transparent tarot, and I layer it with some other oracle and tarot decks, and then when I have my reading, I just reach into my bowl of trinkets here, and then I just
yes, I know. Isn't that great? It's like,
sprinkle them in, and then see whatever comes out.
Oh, they make such a good noise as well when you scrunch in them.
Oh, ASMR. Yeah, and then just depending what comes out, like this really weird looking cat. I mean, then it just adds like again.
That's me. That's my inner self. You just read me right there. That's my true self. Weird looking cat. Right now.
That's
Oh,
forever going to
beautiful.
be the Emily cat in my collection. There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've just been having a lot of fun with adding yet an additional layer to my readings with this particular deck, and I'm really looking forward to the fact that the Oracle is coming out as well, so that way I can continue to layer. So and I was talking yesterday to a friend about the title of the deck. I mean, clearly it's transparent because you can see through it, but for me it has another meaning as well, right, in terms of transparency and authenticity, and really I didn't expect that deepness to sort of come from this, because I was just like, oh, this is a fun idea, let's play with this. No, this is really like changed my way of looking at the cards and deepening my practice, similar to what Gerald's been working with this deck for like since the first edition came out.
I can see from the state of the book. That's very impressive.
Yes, I don't have that experience, but just in the couple of months I've been working with it, it's been really profound. So thank you for creating it, and thank you so much for being here today. I know that you're in the midst of the traveling, so we appreciate your time. For sure.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm just trying to learn all of Cleopatra's lines for Antony and Cleopatra in 2 days. Oh, well, actually, it's now tomorrow that I start rehearsals. So I was like, oh, I can pop in and say hi, I guess. I'm currently in the writing them out by hand stage.
Oh, yes.
Well, the director gave me a great big bound, like, copy of the scripts, and I'm like, great. I just want some pages I can pick out and walk around with until I'm off.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Doing that. And also writing it out helps me to learn it. So I've been walking around the woods the last couple of days, having recorded my lines on my phone and just playing it back to myself, rambling away to myself like a mad woman in the woods, which is fine. That's not that unusual for me anyway. And so, yes, and I'm just sitting down to write it out. What do I think Cleopatra would make of my deck? Oh, which one though?
Right.
But then Cleopatra was an alchemist, apparently, as I'm finding from my research. Although she, I think primarily, supposedly, from my very shallow level of research, used alchemy to create perfumes, including pheromones and things, to make her even more attractive. Because according to various accounts, she wasn't actually as stunningly beautiful as all of that, but she was incredibly charismatic and very, very intelligent. So I'd like to think she'd like it very much.
Yes.
Yes.
Enjoy it. I hope so, anyway.
Calla Lily said, the trees appreciate your efforts, Emily, as you're out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I don't know how long we have you, so I'm going to heap more praise in your direction. So and Emily's like, good, stop. One of the things that this has done for me, this deck in particular, is it helped me to see the connection between the major arcana and the minor arcana and the influence. Yeah. Because let's look, this is the Emperor card. When you have the Emperor, you have that. And by the way, I love when these two show up. It just makes me ridiculously happy.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the intentional, and this is how this has to work.
So I'm going to randomly pick. So here's the 8 of Swords. And so here, looking at this, what this tells me is I am in the midst of everything and I have created this world, and do I want to leave it or do I not want to leave it? And so it really informs that. Yeah. And then also we flip it with another major arcana and we have, look what's going. I am stuck in my head. I need to put my feet on the ground. Right. Mom wants me to take a walk. Let me hold her hand. And lo and behold, we all, here in the United States, Mother's Day was just recently, and I've been missing my mother. And so Mama would take me out for a walk, And I would be releasing all of these swords. And then when we were done with the walk, it's like, okay, there we go.
Aw. Yeah.
So,
It's lovely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's
so
lovely. I mean,
yeah.
the concept as I had it when it sort of made me sit bolt upright at 3 a.m. was, I think, very, very quickly I realized that the mages would have to be depersonified. So no figures in the mages,
Yes.
but that they would be the landscape on which the miners would play out their lives, which is why you have figures in all of the miners, as you were saying, with the 8 of Wands. They all have figures in because those are our everyday lives. And obviously the court cards had to be figured. So I had that idea of these archetypal forces are the landscapes on which our daily lives happen.
Yes.
Oh.
Gigi said, Emily, I use Tarot of the She to talk to the She, and also I'm an acting teacher, and I want to do Midsummer Night's Dream in the woods this summer
Oh, lovely.
or next with folks. Just fangirling.
Oh, bless you. Hello. That's fantastic. I hope you do it. Let me know if you do and send me some pics. I've been in Midsummer 4 times. 4 times. Yeah. Working my way through all the roles.
Working your way. Well, you have to keep your options open, correct?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. What's coming next for you, Emily?
Well, Antony and Cleopatra. Very soon. Which is just local in Hastings and Rye, around where I live, down in East Sussex where I live. Then the second edition of the Transparent Oracle. And then I'll see what comes up in July and August, because if nothing acting-wise comes up, I may well bring out some other stuff. I've been teaching, just finished one round. I say one round, but I don't know what else to call it. There's probably a much better word. But I've just finished teaching a course called The Torchlit Path with Sarita Derste on Hecate, and it's a devotional course. It's a 9-week course. We just finished that. As part of that, I created this dice oracle with various.
I'm going to embiggen you.
Oh
my gosh.
And so when I have the time, this will become its own thing with the various levels of systems. So there'll be a very easy version which has meanings for each symbol and then an intuitive way of interpreting. But there'll also be a version where there are literary and oracular and whatever quotes for each one. From ancient texts and so on. So that's a thing. That's a possibility that may appear at some point. At the moment, it just is part of the course, which I will be, Sarita and myself, all things being well, will be running again in September for anybody who's interested, which is an online course. And I have a couple of little festivals and things, bits and bobs of stuff. And then we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, of course. And to answer Lady Knight of Avalon Maria's question, does the second edition of the tarot come with the book that Gerald showed? It does come with its own book, yes.
There's even more in the second edition book than the first edition. A little bit more.
And it's in color.
It's in color.
Again, it's like, ooh.
I'm a book sniffer.
Yeah. I'm a deck sniffer, so Sunique Tarot said, as a child, I used to play with stage sets made of cardboard. The stage had moving backdrops and figures, which somehow reminds me of your transparent tarot. I hope that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I have some ideas, I've made some notes. I have some ideas mulching around in my head, maybe for another deck at some point. That's very much time dependent, because when I made all these decks, not the book. I've done a couple of books since So Potent Art and Seeking Fairy and whatnot, but the decks are so time consuming. And when I was making those, I wasn't working as an actor. I was just doing that full time.
Mhm.
creating the art, because it's a lot, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But so maybe we'll see, But there's maybe a Shakespeare deck knocking about in here somewhere. But it would have to be.
Ooh.
There's already a few, so it would have to be different enough for me to feel like it was worthwhile.
Mhm.
I love this. Ooh, Emily has
I
ideas.
know.
Yes.
I always have, I mean, ideas is never, a lack of ideas has never been my problem.
Mm.
Somewhat the opposite.
Yes, I can totally relate. I can completely
But
relate.
unfortunately, they don't just make themselves. You have to actually sit
Yeah.
down and do them, which is like, what's that about?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Who wrote that
this.
rule?
Yeah, I missed that memo. It was like, why? What do you mean I have to? Can't I just write it and make it happen? Come on.
It's like as soon as
So
I've had the idea and it seems pretty fully formed in my head, I'm like, well, that's done, surely. It's like, no, you have to actually do it.
Mhm.
What?
yes. Oh my
So it
gosh.
takes time, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So
I'm excited for
thank
those
you.
dice. Oh, wow.
I'm going to go back to, unless you have any more questions, I'm going to go back to writing out my lines because it's getting a little late and I'm in rehearsal
Yes.
in the morning. Well, it's
Uh,
Cleopatra, it turns out, talks a lot.
Oh,
Who
oh,
knew?
who knew?
Who knew?
I want to know if you have you constructed your own pheromones or scent to help you be Cleopatra?
I haven't done, but I'm considering ordering some magical Aphrodite oil,
Mm.
just so that to have that extra like level of effect on the audience, just like a subtle fragrance. Either
Mhm.
that or just roses, some like a rose oil or an Aphrodite magical oil mix. Plotting,
Yes.
yeah. So
I love that.
yeah, we'll see. See.
So thank you.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. It's been really, really lovely talking to you. And
Yes.
by everybody in the chat, you're all lovely as well.
Okay.
I've not been on this program before. I can see the Leave Studio thing. So take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Emily. Bye. Ah! What just happened? Gerald, you're a
Ugh.
magician. You used that magician card, didn't you?
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well,
Breathe.
thank you, Emily. That was so very kind.
Aw.
I think that yes, that was lovely, and I it was yes. So I reached out, and they said, "Well, I think I may be free," and it was just like going, "That was incredible." So, all right, put your feet back on
Yes.
the earth.
Bring Gerald back down to earth now. Come on.
Well, okay. If Jamie's here, look away. I'll put my feet. I'm putting my feet up because it's just too awesome.
Oh,
So
wow. That was such
yes,
a
yes,
gift. Wow.
yes.
That was great.
Today is a magical day. Very cool surprise. Yes, yes.
I don't have my
I
feet on,
know
so
it's
these.
so. And yeah. And did I give you enough time to talk? Oh my gosh.
Oh, you were. I was just mesmerized, just listening to what they were saying and what they were up to, and I could just sit here all day, like, and then. Mm-hmm. No, it was
Yes,
great.
yes,
What more could I say? Let the person speak. Oh my gosh,
yes.
they were great. Gerald, do you have any? I know that we're approaching an hour, but do you have any combinations of this particular deck that you particularly enjoy together?
Um,
Like,
well, like I said, I enjoy anything with the Empress because I think it really is grounded, and because these are very father and mother figures, so the Emperor. Um, but as a hermit, one of the things that I always am looking at is I'm looking at the hermit, and so you can any card, you put it in front of the hermit, and you do tell a story with it.
yes.
So
Mm-hmm. I have the Six of Cards and the Hangman is one of my faves. Like, look at how that just sort of ends
Yes.
there. And I mean, we could go so many different directions with this, but just to keep it sort of surface level is well, surface level. What are we talking about? We're going deep here. But the Six of Swords, and you know what I also love here is that there's just one person in the boat, and there's not that sort of depiction of the child or the fairy man or woman,
True.
as well. So it's like, you know what? I'm taking this boat and I'm gonna sail it off by myself, and I'm gonna go and contemplate and reevaluate things and
Mm-hmm.
fix my life, or try to anyways. One of the other cards that I really find is amazing, and I just love the Ace of Cups in any deck, but the Ace of Cups, and when that thing comes out paired with other ones, my gosh, it's really,
Yeah,
really
and
cool.
it's funny you should say that because I also pulled my Ace of Cups out. It's really very
Mm-hmm.
nice with
Mm-hmm.
that. Um,
Yeah,
so
when things appear, like, things could appear in the glow, in the illuminated rays. They could appear down here where it's
yes,
dripping, and so that changes the meaning of it. And there's just so many layers. I don't even know where to begin
yeah,
or where to end.
it's
So
so challenging. So yeah, and Robin said do the tiny vertical lines at the top and bottom as well as the black box have any significance? It is like the film strip. Oh, look, and
right.
Jonathan said specifically for doing the film strip style of readings.
Right.
And the top lines are the majors. So the majors are listed at the top and the bottom. So the major numbers are at the top and the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the minors are on the sides.
Right.
So,
Right. So when you
and
layer, like if you take the Emperor, you see the number 4. And by the way, like I think Gerald said this already, but the second edition just has regular numbers, and the first edition has Roman numerals for the majors. And then if you just layer them on top, then that way the number is still appearing at the top, right?
yes.
And so you can still see it. And then, like
Mhm.
Jonathan was saying, then you can do the film strip style like this, and now you can still see that it says 3, but now you can see that we're working with the pentacle, and you can just keep layering them across like a film strip. And I'll show you a picture of it in the book,
Yeah.
where they show that. I have it marked somewhere here. Here it
And
is.
that's, yeah.
So this is like the film strip style. If
Hmm.
you would layer it side by side, which, as you can see, the overlap gives you, again, different meanings and different layers. So
Yes.
and Gerald did touch again on the sigils thing, but utilizing this deck for sigil work as well.
Hmm.
So they use an example like, if you were looking for a legal process in the purchase of a new home, justice has been chosen to symbolize the law. The Four of Wands is a roof-like structure. The Nine of Cups as the wish fulfillment of an easy process. So that's what that looks like. And then this is what the sigil would look like if you drew it out like that.
Hmm.
So,
And I don't know if you can see this, but on the side here, you have all of the numbers of the suit, and you have the suit on the other side. And I think Anne showed the example of the film strip version. You remember film strips in school, Robin, right? When you had to do that. So, yep, you got it. So,
there were just
and
two more cards.
okay, Sunique asked about the book. The book is quite good.
Oh yes, you know what? The purchase alone just for the book, honestly, is worth it. I think.
Yes,
Just to
and
hear.
yes, it's a pricier deck.
Yeah.
It's not inexpensive, but the production of it, purchase responsibly, know your
Mm-hmm.
limits.
Yeah, I
So,
had to ask Santa Claus for it, so I mean, literally, actually. Um, so the Five of Wands, I just wanted to point out this is really cool because it's just the one person with the Five of Wands, and like for me, when I get this, it's like the battles that we have with ourselves,
mhm.
right? Of course, it could be interpreted many ways, and then the last one I wanted to show was the 3. of Swords, and look at how
Mhm.
the person's going to penetrate, or it seems like they're going to penetrate themselves with that last one. It's like, again, sort of like that hurt or that heartache that sort of we bring on ourselves sometimes,
Yes.
or we think something is like more painful than it really needs to be because we're doing it to ourselves. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh yes,
Yeah.
just so grateful to have this deck and to play around with it. Again, I'm not comfortable just yet reading for others with it, but
Mm-hmm.
I plan to eventually.
I actually started reading it with it for other people. That's how I just jumped into the deep
Oh,
end.
so
Um,
cool.
Callily said, "Do you read, Gerald? Do you read the film strip style, and how is it?" I don't actually read the film strip style. I actually just layer them all,
Hmm.
and what's that image tell me? So that's actually how I read them. So, and but that's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, I don't use a film
So,
strip style either myself. I just find I get more depth when I layer them. And speaking of layers, I have found, and I recognize you can do as many as you want, but I have found three, maximum of four cards is what I layer with these. I
hmm
find if you do any, like this is four cards together, but I find if you do any more than
yes,
that, it can get, I suppose it depends which cards you pick, but it can get a little muddled and lost in translation.
hmm
Especially, of course, if I am starting to use another deck and layering it on top of there as well. So
yes,
certainly it's a personal preference, but it has really been so much fun to explore this really unique concept and get more out of my practice.
yes. Robin asked what it's like to shuffle. It is
Mm.
the first edition is a bit of a challenge to shuffle, just um, because of the production quality wasn't
Hmm.
what it could be. Um, and for the most part, I would overhand shuffle
Yeah,
with it.
you can riffle as well. Like it does riffle really well. I know I'm not doing the top down; you can't see it, but I would just do it one. I don't do like the fanning thing. I just like riffle
Hmm
and put them together again. But they overhand shuffle. This is a second edition, and they overhand really nicely. Like they don't
Very
stick together or
nicely.
anything.
Yeah.
And like it's been pointed out, the first edition does tend to have like that oily stuff on it,
Yeah,
and
it
then if
has
you
a
just
bit of a
wipe it off, it
surface.
should be
Hmm
okay.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that has been fixed now.
Yes. And I'm excited to hear that the Oracle has got um, 8 more cards. That's fascinating. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Very.
okay. Well, we are over an hour. So, um, and what an hour it has been. So,
Yes.
this has been wonderful. While Emily was here, I focused on them and I
Of
probably
course.
missed a whole lot of questions. My apologies. But boy, that was a pleasant surprise. So thank you very much. And what do you've got coming up on your channel?
Well, hang on a second. I just want to say the look on your face was like worth like having them here because I was like looking at you like Gerald, like oh my god. It was great. It was great to have them. And thank you for reaching out and inviting them. That was a really nice surprise.
Yes.
On my channel, on Thursday, this week Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I will be having Ellen Valadares. I hope I'm saying that right. I keep saying it like that. But she is the author and creator of the Hummingbird Oracle. That is a
Mm,
red feather Schiffer publication again. And we're really
uh-huh.
doing red feather today, aren't we? Um, yes, she will be joining me. Yasmin, which was the illustrator of the deck, and she has her own decks, was supposed to join, but she's not able to because she'll be
Nice.
30,000 feet in
Aw.
the air on an airplane for something work related. So I just got that message that she won't make it, and she's really upset that she can't be here. But Ellen will be here, so yeah. And then we're doing rescheduling Krista from Auntie Kay's Tarot talking about her new
Mm-hmm.
deck, Diamore's fortune telling deck. So we were having some connectivity issues with her yesterday. So yeah, we're gonna just pre-record it behind the scenes on Zoom. It's just easier that way, and that'll be posted
Mm-hmm.
by this weekend. So
Certainly.
that's what's coming up, and yeah, the Creating Connection series is going to take a little pause for a couple months so that I can focus on other content and spend some time with family and in nature.
Very nice.
So,
Friday is Richie Longman Taro's birthday, and I'm hosting a birthday celebration on my channel. Friday
yeah.
the 13th, there's the times. And Joe from Behind the Veil and I on Monday are going to do a Working Towards Wellbeing conversation.
Nice.
And then next Tuesday, Micah and I are doing a deck casual about the Muse Tarot.
Oh, I love that deck. Cool.
So
Nice.
thanks everybody for being here. Yes, I could do another hour with this deck easily. I completely get that. Know your limits, purchase responsibly. It is an expensive deck because of the production. And as Ange said, the quality of the book I really appreciate. It's quite good. So it was amazing. And so all right, thank you everybody very much for watching, and I'll probably watch this back a little bit, and well, not now because I now have to go lay down. So
Whew.
yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. So all right, thank you everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will take care.